this video, we're going over the Math 1 Practice EOC problems 30 through 35. Okay, the first problem you see here, hopefully you notice that this is kind of in a different font text. The question that was originally for 30 and 31 was removed from the test because it was removed from our standards. So I've selected this problem in its place. I have no idea what problems they'll put in its place. They have removed some standards, replaced the standards, but I really don't know which questions they're going to ask. So I thought this was a good problem, so I went ahead and put it in there. Also, it has to do with factoring, and that's usually a big part of the test. All right, the question says a frame X inches wide is shown around a 12-inch by 18-inch rectangular picture. The area of the frame picture can be represented by this expression. So that's the area of the whole frame and the picture. What is the width of the frame if the area is 391? Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do is, they're telling me that 2x plus 12 times 2x plus 18 gives me the area, and I know that the area is equal to 391 square inches. Okay, from there I need to multiply this out. You can use the box method or FOIL method, but you should get 4x squared plus 24x plus 36x plus 216, which equals 391. Then I'm going to combine like terms. So I have 4x squared plus 60x plus 216 equals 391. Okay, from here I'm going to get everything to the same side of the equal sign. So I'm going to subtract 391 from both sides. When I do that, I get 4x squared plus 60x minus 175 equals 0. Okay, from here, I need to factor out. I see a GCF of 4, but 4 doesn't go into 175. 2 goes into 4, but doesn't go into 175. So there is no GCF. So now I'm going to have to factor by grouping. Okay, so I need to find two numbers that, I need to take the first times the last. So 4 times 175, and that gives you 700. Okay, so I need factors of 700 that are going to add up to positive 60. And 70 times negative 10 is going to give you, hold on 1 second. Alright, there we go, just double checking. Okay, sorry, I forgot. It says negative 700 because of negative 175. But when I add together, they'll also get positive 60, which is what I want. Okay, so now I'm going to factor by grouping. So that means I've got 4x squared plus 70x minus 10x minus 175 equals 0. I'm going to pull out what the first two have in common. They're both even and they both have an x. That's going to be 2x times 2x plus 35. I'm going to see what these both have in common. They're both negative. So I'm going to pull out a negative 5. That leaves me with 2x plus 35 equals 0. Okay, remember the people that are alone on the outside get grouped together, so that's 2x minus 5 times 2x plus 35 equals 0. I set them both equal to 0. 2x minus 5 equals 0. 2x plus 35 equals 0. Minus 35 minus 35 plus 5 plus 5. 2x equals 5. That means x equals 5 over 2, which is 2.5. On this side, I get 2x equals negative 35 divided by 2. Okay. This is a positive answer, and it says what's the width. Notice all my answer choices are positive, so I need a 2.5. Okay, for the next question, it said, again, this is one that I selected. It was not on the original release test. They could ask you something like this, or maybe not, but this is what I chose. A man drops a ball from the top of a 300-foot cliff. The height of the ball falling is modeled by this. How long does it take the ball to be 44 feet above the ground? Okay, well remember, it says h represents height in feet, right? And you want it to be 44 feet above the ground, so you need to plug that in. So I've got 44 equals negative 16x squared plus 300. Okay. Well, I am going to I'm trying to get x by itself, so I'm going to subtract 300 from both sides. And one of the reasons I did this is because I was kind of missing a middle term. I had the first term and I had the last term, but not the middle of this quadratic, so that's one of the reasons I chose to do it this way. Then I said minus 256 equals negative 16x squared. I want to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides with negative 16 because it's being multiplied. So x squared equals positive 16. How do you undo a square? Square root. So x equals 4 and negative 4. But when we're talking about how long, how many seconds, I only want the positive answer, which is A. This is one of the newer standards that they added. It's called solving quadratics by square roots, and that's why I selected it. Some people might have found a different way to do it, which is fine, but this is, to me, the fastest way, and it's remembering that when you take the square root, you have two answers. Okay, 32. The table below shows the distance a car has traveled. What is the meaning of the slope of the linear model for this data? Well, first off, we need to find the slope. Okay, this is going to be my x, this is going to be my y. If you notice here, these are all going up by 25. And then this is going up by 20. Okay, so slope is always change in y over change in x, so that means I have just 20 over 25. I'm going to put my units next to it. This is miles over minutes. So I can travel 20 miles in 25 minutes. Okay, well, you reduce that fraction, that's 4/5. That's saying I can go 4 miles in 25 minutes. And remember, this is how I'm knowing what x and y represent. Well, which answer choice says 4 miles every 5 minutes? C. Alright, 33. The area of a trapezoid is found using the formula, and they're asking you to find the area using the given information. Okay? Well, I'm going to use my formula, and I'm going to write it again right here. So 1/2 height d1 plus base 2. Okay? Now I'm going to plug in what I know. I know the height is 4, so I have area equals 1/2 times 4. I know that base 1 is x minus 3. And that's going to be added to base 2, which is so plus x plus 7. And from here, I'm just going to simplify. Well, what's half times 4? 2. 1x plus 1x. 2x. Negative 3 plus 7. Positive 4. From here, I'm going to distribute. 4x plus 8. That's my area, which is B. All right. 34. This question got kind of intense. The first time I did this problem several years ago, it took me forever. But now that I've been doing this for several years, I'm a lot faster at it. But this one is definitely tricky. So if you got it wrong, don't beat yourself up. All right. A company produces packs of pencils and pens. The company produces at least 100 packs of pens each day, but no more than 240. The company produces at least 70 packs of pencils each day, but no more than 170. A total of less than, not less than or equal to, less than 300 packs of pens and pencils are produced each day. Each pack of pencils makes a profit of $1.25. Each pack of Each pack of pen makes $1.25. Packs of pencils is 75 cents. What is the maximum profit? Okay, if I want to make a maximum profit, I need to sell a whole lot more of the one that's going to make me a bigger profit. Okay, so my goal is to sell as many pens as I can with these restraints because I want to make the most money. Okay, so when I think about doing that, I know that pens has to be, so if I have 100, it's got to be greater than 100, but it has to be less than or equal to 240. Okay, for pencils, say very similar, 70. I have to sell at least 70, but I can't sell any more than 170. And I know that the pencils and the pens together have to be, less than 300. Okay, these are all my restraints. A lot of inequalities. There's lots of different ways you could do it. For me, what I did was I kind of made a chart. Again, some people might use an equation, but for me, I made a chart, and I kind of guessed and checked until I got it. So what I said was, I wrote pen, and I'm actually going to do this on the next sheet so that I have enough room. Okay, so I made a chart, and I said, okay, well, pens, and I read, this is the number that I'm making and how much money they're going to give me for those. And then I said, okay, then I'm going to write down the pencils. I said, okay, this is how many pencils I'm going to make, and this is the money I make from my pencils. And then this will be my total. Okay, it's going to be my total number, it's got to be less than 300. And then my total amount of money. Okay, so maximum profit. That's how I did it. And then I said, okay, well, I know that I want to sell as many pens as possible, and it says that you can sell no more than 240. Okay, so if I do 240, but I have to, this has to be less than 300, so I said, okay, 300 minus 240, that's 60. Well, that'd be 60 pencils. To make, oh, sorry, it needs to be less than that. It should be less than that. So 59, that would make 299. Okay. Well, here's the problem. This already breaks the rule because I have to have what? This has to be greater than 70. Okay. So this is not going to work. Well, it's a good idea, but it's not going to work. Then I said, okay, well, let me adjust a little bit. What is, sorry, 69, I can't write the right thing. So that's right. Ah! 59. Then I said, okay, well, what if I pull it back? And I said, what if I do 230, which would mean I'd have 69, and this would make it, I have 299. But again, this is less than 70. So because of that column, it's not going to work. Then I said, okay, well, all right. I know I have to have at least 70 pencils, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that. And I know that this has to be 299 because it has to be less than 300. So I said, whatever I have left, 299 minus 70, that's how many pens I'm going to buy, because that means that would be the most amount of pens I could buy, which would mean I'd get the most profit. And that number is 229, which is pretty close to my second guess. Okay? So I said I have to have this many pencils, and then the rest can be pens, which makes more money. They have to be less. They have together have to be less than 299. So 299 minus 70 gives you 229. From there, I said, okay, each one of these I make $1.25, and for each one of the other ones I make 75 cents. Okay, so when I fill that in the table, this one's going to give me 286.25. And this gave me 52.50, and when I added it up, I got 338.75, which is my answer. Okay, and I know this is right because there's pens are going to make the most money. That's as many pens as I can have that'll still meet the restraints. Okay, so again, this one was A. That's a trickier one. All right, and last problem for this video is 35. Okay, it says John mixed the almonds. John mixed cashews and almonds. John bought 4 pounds of almonds for a total of $22. The cost per pound for cashews is 60% more than the cost per pound for almonds. John bought enough cashews that when he mixed them with the almonds, the mixture had a value of $6.50 per pound. Approximately what percent of the mixture by weight was cashews? Okay. All right. I'm gonna make this small so I have a bit more. Okay, so the first thing that I tried to do was kind of wrote down some of the information that they gave me. I know that 4 pounds of almonds is going to cost me $22. So I was like, well, if I take $22 and I divide it by 4, that means that almonds cost $5.50 per pound. Okay, that's good to know. The next thing I know is that it says the cost per pound for cashews is 60% more. Okay, so this is the cost per pound for almonds. If I take that and I times it by 60% more, which is 1.6, because I want the original price, want the original plus 60% more, that gives me $8.80 per pound. So that's the cashew price per pound. And I need to write an equation. I know that when I get the 4 pounds of almonds that cost $5.50 per pound, plus some mysterious amount of cashews. I don't know how many cashew pounds I'm going to buy, but I know they're $8.80 per pound. That's going to give me a total of however many I bought and the weight per pound, which is $6.50 because they told me that. Okay. And really quickly, for those of you who need to see me draw this to help you where I got this equation from, okay, I've got 4 pounds plus an amount I don't know. These pounds are $5.50 each. These are $8.50 each, and I know this is going to be $6.50 each. Okay, that's where that came from, and I'm multiplying these things. That's what's happening. Okay, so when you do that, this is obviously going to give you 22 plus 8.8x equals, and I distributed this. Okay, so that's going to give me 26 plus 650x. From there, I just solved, so I was trying to get x by itself. I'm going to run out of room here, so minus 22 from both sides. What I did, I'll do the rest of it down here. That means I had 880x equals 4 plus 650x. Then I subtracted 650x from both sides. Okay, and that left me with 2.3x equals 4. Then I said 4 divided by 2.3 x, which is 1.74 pounds. Okay, here's the problem though. That's not even an answer choice. Okay, this is how many pounds of cashews I bought, but that's not an answer choice because the question saying approximately what percent of the mixture by weight was cashew. So what percent out of the total amount was cashew? So now I have to, the total amount that I bought, okay, so sorry, 1.74 pounds of cashews plus, it's out of the total, 4 plus 1.74, which is the same thing as saying 1.74 out of 5.74. What percent of the cashews out of the total? And you get 30%. Okay, so clearly this was a very involved problem, very multi-step.